Well, he scores every time he plays, you know, so it'd be nice if we had him every week. But he's a talented young guy. He's unique because he's got running back skills and receiver skills, and he's really physical, so you can use him as a blocker when you want to. And he's been through a lot, just nagging things here and there, and hopefully we can manage keeping him on the field, because every time he plays, he's an explosive player for us that puts points up.
Coming out of Sanderson High School, what did you think he was about? Because he played, I think, did he play safety?
He did.
Yeah, what did you envision him?
Well, we thought he'd be a running back or a linebacker coming out. Is kind of what we thought. And then his body filled out and got thicker and thicker. And with the experience we had with Jalen Samuels here prior, we felt like he gave us kind of a similar weapon that we could use in a variety of ways and create matchup problems. And because in the line he was in, he just wasn't getting enough reps, And so moving him to a position like that gave us more opportunities to play him.
He talked about the availability being the most important thing for him this offseason. But you look across the team, how important is that availability for this team, not only now, but once the season gets started too?
Yeah, your chess pieces are important, and whether you're high school, college, NFL, I think there's two things that really matter with these players. One is the ability, how good a player are they, and two is the dependability. Can you count on having them every week? And as a coach, they're very important words, and as a player, obviously all these guys want to stay on the field and stay healthy. Some injuries in football, you can't do anything about it. That's the sport, but some you can. I think that's the educational piece that we do a lot of here with our sports science and nutrition people. And as players, they've got to own that part of it. It's hydration, it's food, it's rest, it's prehab, it's rehab, it's all the things that go into staying healthy, soft tissue injuries, and then how you practice. Are your guys helping each other and staying safe, pulling off, on a teammate when you could go in there and bury him like you would in a game. And there's a lot to it to keep these guys, in a good space.
Jalen Scott earlier was talking about how much he's transformed his body,
yeah.
And to see him get to this point where he can have the year that you hope he has, how much hard work has he put in?
He's done a lot, not just physically, but he's done a lot emotionally and mentally too. And he's come a long way. He sat behind some really good players. He's played and he's helped us, and it's his time, and so excited for him and proud of the work he's done, and we've got to keep pushing him. He's a guy every day, just needs to come in here with that hungry mindset.
Both Jalen and Porter could have bolted in this day and age, and he stuck around. What do you do as a staff that you're able to maintain these kids, retain them?
I think our culture, you've seen this year in and year out, these kids like playing here. They're treated with respect, they're pushed, they're held accountable, they're loved. We surround them with really good teachers, we surround them with great strength coaches, our sports med people. Boo does a great job allowing us to maintain staff, giving us opportunities to be competitive with other schools and keep people here. Raleigh's a great place to live. I think these guys like going to school at NC State. They're good friends, So it's hard if you're going to leave all that. You better be leaving it for a really, really good opportunity that's, as you guys all know, everyone in the world knows, the grass isn't always greener, You could be leaving this position, going somewhere else, walking into the same one and having a bad culture that you got to deal with. And so I think that's, when guys leave, I think it's because they know that they're just not going to play, period. And they need to go down a level or go to a school that has a bad depth chart situation. And that makes sense to me, because ultimately these guys came to college to also play football. And if they don't get that opportunity, then it's probably not going to be the experience that they want. It's not what we want either. We want all these guys to be satisfied at the end of the journey.
You have Pro Day coming up. What kind of feedback are you getting?
Yeah, probably get more this week. Last week we were on spring break, so it was pretty quiet. It was good to see Drake and Thayer just came in and just kind of talking to them about what they're hearing. And, the Pro Day is a big deal for a lot of our players. We don't have, like we did with Icky, you don't have that guy that is going to go right away. So a lot of these guys, where they fit in the draft will be determined by these measurables and these 40s and how high they jump and the drill work they go through. The interview piece I'm not worried about. Our guys will do a great job on the board, talking football, talking life. But these guys that are 5'11" instead of 6'1", how fast they run will matter, you know, and so they look good. You know, I know there'll be a lot of scouts here to look at our guys and hope for a great day.
You have kind of said in the past that sometimes you have studied NFL draft measurables to basically recruit what you like out of high school. How much has that influenced recruiting?
Quite a bit. You know, the rubric we use for recruiting, the length, the hand size, you know, all the things you see in the pro day and the combines, they're listed above of the position group. So what the, you know, prototypical running back is, and all right, well, this guy's the same or bigger or smaller. It just gives us kind of a measuring stick. Humble, right? And so that's, you know, where we kind of, at the end of all things, we want length and speed. Like, those are the two categories when you talk about what we're looking for. And over a long period of time, it's been a pretty good formula for us as far as development and producing the number of players we have, you know, that we're, I guess you'd say, ranked 3-star or lower. We're in the top 3 in college football for putting those guys in the NFL through our development.
As you're watching these guys learn the new offense and learn the new concepts and keys, you know, how much excitement do you see out of them, and how much excitement does it give you for them to see what they could possibly be in for this coming season?
Well, you know, it's good as you cycle through the off season. They're excited to lift weights, and then as that goes for 7 weeks, they're ready to play football. You know. And,
Oh my God!
That's what you get. They're ready to play, and it's exciting, you know, as coaches too, because we got hired to coach football. You know, that's what we're in this profession to do, is to mentor these guys on the field and teach them the game. And so for us, this is one of our favorite times of the year. So there's excitement on both coaching staff and players. You know, and the strength guys get to watch kind of the improvements that were gained in the off season and think about how they can help them get better before August.
When the NFL guys maybe call you, contact you, and ask you about Drake, and they might say, well, he didn't seem to be the tallest guy.
Right.
What do you tell them about this?
So to me, measurables are important, but how you play the game is more important. And there are exceptions, and no different for us. We do not want a bunch of exceptions on our team. But the ones that you have, they need to be ballers, you know. And him and Tanner Engel are 2 examples of that. They're going to be a little shorter than they say. They're also going to be 2 of the best football players they could get. You know, and I think the film doesn't lie. You tell those guys to watch the film, put them on the grass, put them through drills, get them in a meeting and talk football. All that stuff is going to cancel out some of the other measurables. And they measure a guy that's 6'2" or whatever and get him in the meeting room, and he can't even come close to Drake when football IQ starts into the equation. Or they look at his change of direction, or they get into his contact that he's going to make. So he'll make up for those measurables with most teams. Some of them won't. Some of them won't give on that, and they'll be the ones that miss out, you know, on coaching guys like him.
Coach, this is kind of a unique recruiting period because you can actually have guys out at spring practice a lot more.
Yeah.
How does that help when you can actually have guys kind of seeing what you're telling them and pitching to them?
I think it's great for the player to recruit, you know, to hear the coach that's been recruiting them coach his guys, to pretend they're in the drills and see, you know, what kind of guy that guy is on the grass, how he's going to teach, do I fit with his personality, you know, because it's not just a how you doing phone call, it's I'm getting to watch him do his job. And for us, it's good. I mean, these guys don't know, but we're watching them watch us, you know, like, does this guy pay attention, or is he on Instagram during practice? You know, does he really like football, or is he in the corners? You know, like, we're watching them too. So like this evaluation thing that's going on, we're looking for guys that fit our culture, that fit our identity. And so when kids come to practice and watch, if they're not into it, then they're going to find out we're not into them. You know, we want guys that love the game of football and love learning about it. And I think our camps in the summer are the same way. These kids that come to camp and they get up in there and watch the coaches coach, they get a lot out of that.
Is there an example of maybe a current or a former player that you've had out here that you saw, like, oh man, this guy's really engaging, really enjoying his time?
We had a kid here, I can't say his name, 2 weeks ago that was taking notes during practice. 2025 kid, and had his phone out and was writing notes into his phone during practice on the things he liked. And I was like, that is pretty awesome to see, you know. So things like that stand out, you know, to me, because a lot of guys aren't wired that way.